Hello there. Welcome to your program Security Report, where you get all the necessary information you need on how to keep your life safe and secured. My name is Shirley Daniels, and with me today is...
And I'm Oris Adeoye. Always remember that security is for everyone, so please be security conscious anytime, any day.
Well, security is not all about talking about the police, the military, what so have you. We also have security when it comes to health.
Very well.
What is called health security.
Yes.
And that will be taking part of that today. Trending recently is a disease that I don't know. It has been. Who has declared it to be a global disease, a global virus?
Yes.
That's talking about the coronavirus. Now, coronavirus, so as far as much as we know, has spread far from China.
About 20 countries actually.
The major states, the major country,
which is China,
which it originated from, and then to other countries.
Yes.
Now, what do we have to know about coronavirus? What do you have to know about coronavirus? What are the measures you have to take in order to make sure you are safe and protected?
And as it is now, about I think the 30 provinces in China, they have actually contacted that. So it's more like it's spreading from China to other countries.
Now let's get you a report on coronavirus.
What is coronavirus? Coronaviruses are a family of viruses known for containing strains that cause potentially deadly disease in mammals and birds. In humans, they are typically via airborne droplets of fluid produced by infected individuals. The novel coronavirus broke out from a wholesale market for animals in Wuhan, China. From this location, humans got infected. According to records, over 8,000 cases have been confirmed so far across 31 provinces in China. The World Health Organization have declared novel coronavirus as a global public health emergency due to its exportation to other countries of the world. Exportation of this disease have reached 20 other countries: China, Australia, Japan, Malaysia, Nepal, Singapore, South Korea, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, Canada, USA, Germany, and is fast spreading. Symptoms: this disease manifests in humans with sneezing, runny nose, sore throat, fever, shaking of hands, and high temperature. Most victims of the virus die of complications including pneumonia and swelling of the lungs. The virus causes swelling in the respiratory system, which can make it hard for the lungs to pass oxygen into the bloodstream, leading to organ failure and death. Severe pneumonia can kill people by causing them to drown in the flood flooding their lungs. Prevention: if you are mildly sick, you should drink plenty of water. Wash your hands often with soap and running water. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. Avoiding the spread of coronavirus. Public health authorities provide travelers information to reduce the general risks via health practitioners, travel health clinics, travel agencies, conveyance operators, and at points of entry. Conduct exit screening at international airports and ports in the affected areas. Encourage screening at domestic airports, railway stations, and long-distance bus stations as necessary. Implement health information campaign at points of entry to raise awareness of reducing the general risk. Oris Adeoye, Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Welcome back. That is the much you can really get on coronavirus. And do not forget, it's still spreading, but we pray and we hope that in this nation, Nigeria, coronavirus will not be found here. And I hope that's a prayer, Julie.
Well, for me, I don't pray for it to come into Nigeria.
Somebody said we are strong, but I think it's not just we being strong. It's about we praying it should not come into this country.
Well, it's not all about prayer too. Prayers without work, they say, is dead. But then too, we actually had an interview, same on this coronavirus, with Dr. Chukwuemeka Anya from the Gariki Specialist Hospital, who spoke extensively on like we said, we have to get you on how to know what to do and what not to do, you understand, in order to be safe about this coronavirus. We had an exclusive interview with Dr. Chukwuemeka Anya. Let's get to that interview right away.
When you say coronavirus, it doesn't refer to a particular virus. It refers to a group of viruses that largely infect animals, but occasionally infect human beings and cause primarily infections with the respiratory tract. Now, there are so many coronaviruses. A lot of them infect pigs, bats, snakes, all sorts. But the ones that there are 7 strains that are known to infect humans. 4 of them cause just common cold. The other 2 are a lot more familiar. The SARS, the one everybody heard about, I think sometime in 2002, 2003, and the Middle East respiratory virus. Also didn't make as much waves, but was probably even more dangerous because it had a higher case mortality ratio than, as in killed more people that were infected than SARS did. But SARS was, the panic about SARS was more, and the more people appear to have heard more about SARS than the Middle East respiratory virus. But those were actually made a global impact, and a lot of people heard about them. Then this current one, the 2019 novel coronavirus infection, as it is called now, is quite new. I mean, it just came to the fore. Had it always been just recently discovered. That's what the N stands for. If you notice where they write 2019 NCO. That's 2019 novel coronavirus. The novel represents the relative newness, the relative. It was relatively unknown before now. Okay, that's why it's called a novel virus. So generally, not plenty is known about it for now. Not a lot is known about it for now, but it's generally known. Basically, it's infectious, like we said. It could be dangerous when infection sets in, and approximately 3% of people that are infected so far, from early studies, epidemiological studies, have been shown that about 3% of people that get infected are likely to die. So compared to the commoner coronaviruses that we know, like SARS, like the Middle East respiratory virus, it is not as lethal, but it's more infectious than both of them. More infectious, but less mortality is associated with it than the other 2. When somebody gets infected, I said mortality is about 3% amongst the infected. For SARS, it was about 10%. For Middle East respiratory virus, I think it was about 25%. So it's more infectious, yes, but not as lethal as the other 2. Historically, it was said that the first person that manifested was someone that was known to have eaten a bat, soup made from bats. And she subsequently developed that. Because bats are known to be the main reservoirs, okay, of this particular virus. Bats, snakes have been known to be the main reservoirs. So the first case was somebody was said to have eaten a bat and developed coronavirus infection. Okay, some other people have eaten snakes and developed coronavirus infections. Okay, we all know that snakes eat bats, so it is understandable that if a bat is infected, snakes can very easily get infected. So whether it is in handling the snake before preparing it or in eating it proper that causes the infection is yet to be fully determined. The infection actually broke out from a market where such things are sold. Bats, snakes, all sorts of animals are sold there. the initial 41 people that presented with the virus in hospital, among the initial 41 people that presented, 27 of them were from that market. So there was something in that market that was spreading it, or there was a focus in that market that was spreading it, at least initially, before it now went haywire. And forgot to mention that presently, I think about 15 countries, it's spreading in 15 countries. It started in a town in China called Wuhan. That's why some people call it the Wuhan virus. I forgot to mention that initially. The Wuhan virus is what other people call it because of the town where it started from. Now spread to the rest of China, spread across China, spread to many other countries in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, most of the Southeast Asian countries, and has now gone across. From Southeast Asia, went all the way across to the United States, Canada, then came back. Cases have been identified in France, in Italy. So I think right now about 15 different countries are said to be affected. But at least a case has been identified in at least 15 countries as I speak. And unfortunately, it's still spreading. Over 100 people are said to have died from infections from the virus, even though over 1,500 people have been infected. About 100 people have died from infection so far. It's caused such a stir, and people are panicking so much that the Chinese government, in response to this, decided to build. Well, it's worth mentioning because that's some public health response. Decided to build a 1,000-bedded hospital just for this outbreak in a period of 6 days. So in 6 days, they're going to build build and equip a 1,000-bedded hospital just to be able to manage the Wuhan virus infection. Of course, they've locked down a lot of places. A lot of towns are on lockdown as I speak, with millions of people trapped, over 60 million people in different towns. That means you can't go in, you can't leave the towns. Everybody, just a way to curtail further spread of infection. Well, I was getting to that. The truth is, everybody should be worried. Okay, everybody needs to be worried. The worst thing is, it's if you see people coming in from well, right now anywhere in the world, because a lot of countries, I think a case was identified in Abidjan and Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, not too long ago, like day before yesterday. So you can see how close it's getting to us. So anybody coming into the country ideally should be screened. But reality is, yes, you can screen, and when you find somebody that comes in with a fever usually with a cough, usually with a runny nose, usually with difficulty in breathing, when it's beginning to get advanced, that's what the person usually presents with. So if you see somebody coming into Nigeria with these symptoms, yes, it makes sense to isolate and investigate further. Because you can't send back. You can't send anybody back on international travel. You have to take them to hospital, probably isolate and manage as necessary. But reality also is that cases have been reported in which people have the infection but do not have any symptoms. So they're asymptomatic. So somebody that has an infection could be, somebody could be infected, doesn't have any symptoms, and walks through your borders. If they couldn't detect it in the United States and Canada and in Europe and so many other countries that are a lot more advanced, it's going to be very difficult, actually. I mean, like really pinning it down. That's the truth. Some other people really don't know the incubation period at this point. Incubation period refers to the period between infection and manifestation of symptoms. So we can't even say, sometimes people are still incubating, but yet even at that time when you're still incubating, you can spread the disease. So it's difficult to know. If we're waiting to identify people with obvious disease so that we can quarantine them and keep them out, we're going to miss a lot of cases. So somebody can very easily sneak into the country, asymptomatically. Even he doesn't know he's infected. And then may later develop infections, or symptoms, or may never even develop symptoms, but is spreading. So these are the challenges, these are the major challenges with this. I think WHO is saying what it's saying because of the number of people infected. Okay, we've had like when we had like influenza, yeah, when you measure people in thousands, hundreds of thousands, 100,000 people have been infected, 70,000 people have been infected, 200,000 have been infected. It's not, or maybe 8,000 have died, 20,000 have died. It's not yet in that realm. World shares are already crashing. Shares are already, the price of gold, Brent crude, a lot of things are already crashing just because of the Wuhan virus thing. So if you cause a global panic, it goes beyond just the health sector. It affects many other sectors. So before you can declare that a global emergency, you have to know what you're talking about and what you mean. It is not that the disease is not bad, but it's not yet as, and when 3% is high, but it's not yet as high as, let's say, something like Ebola, where maybe like 40-50% are going to die. And in some epidemics, we reported 70-80% in the past. So it's bad, but it's not yet as bad when you look at one, number of people infected, two, case fatality rates. The disease on its own doesn't even, with what is known about it for now, it doesn't even let you prepare adequately, okay? Generally right now, there are a few drugs available. Some are being tested. Some drugs that are used in management of HIV, unfortunately, those are the more expensive ones. A drug called lopinavir has been found to be effective. If it does occur in Nigeria, it shouldn't be that difficult providing some support to the infected. But I think the easier thing to do will be mass mobilization, mass sensitization to prevent infection than to begin to start treating infections. And I think there's a lot more we can do as individuals than government can do for us, okay, in this circumstance. Drinking water frequently wetting your throat. It's not in drinking the water itself, it's just in making sure your throat doesn't dry up, okay? So small quantities of water frequently is what is required, not gulping 2 liters at a time and not taking another for 8 hours. Just take small quantities each time. It prevents the dryness, could lead to cracking of the airways. And if you have, by any chance, you're infected, it's easy to establish an infection, okay, if there are cracks in the throat, okay? So as much as possible, wet the throat. Don't wait for long to wet your throat.
Welcome back. You heard a lot from Dr. Chukwuemeka Anya, and I think that every one of us have to be very conscious on this so that we will not say we're not told. That's why Security Report brings the best your way. And recently, there's still something still...
That is why I said I don't pray for coronavirus to come in. Because already Nigeria, we are battling with the issue of Lassa fever. Lassa fever, if you now combine these two things together, if it hits the country,
it's too hard.
Then that means, I don't know, somebody said, that means you're fried. So trust me, we don't want to be fried. We don't want to be fried. Security, health security is as important
as your life.
As social security is, as any other security is important.
That's true.
Now, coronavirus, like you heard from Dr. Chukwuemeka Anya, is something that there are some preventive measures, you understand? When you heard him say you're trying to use the mask.
Yes.
We don't have.
Always wash your hands with
Nigerians,
running water.
we don't have that should I say that hygiene, that method, washing hand, unlike when you go to China, Japan, you see that. It's like a routine, it's like
something they are used to.
There's something they are used to, you wash your hand. Then, please, as much as you can, try to avoid touching the railway, like he said too. Anyway, let's not bore you with, because you've already heard from me.
But if you have not been doing that, I think now you actually have to put yourself in that precaution and begin to do it.
Let it be part of you. Let it be part of what you do. Let it be part of your everyday kind of lifestyle. Yes. Now, talking about these same viruses going around, we also talk about Lassa fever. Now, Lassa fever is presently it is about in 19 different states in Nigeria. Talking about Enugu, Ebonyi, Kaduna, talk about, I can't even mention, and if care is not taking it, it's still spreading. And now, how do we contain? For those of you who I like eating bushmeat and all that, I know you're not part of them anyways. No, for those of you who enjoy eating bushmeat, please, this is not the time to eat bushmeat.
But how do you think that people can actually run away from eating bushmeat? I think this time around it should be what? It should be roasted very well. very, very well.
I think for me, it is better you stay away from eating bushmeat for now.
So if you like eating bushmeat,
stay away from anything that has to do, that has contact or that's contaminated with urine and excreted from rats, because these are the major way in which one can get this Lassa fever virus.
Right.
But then there's a report on that Lassa fever, so let's get to the report right away.
What is Lassa fever? Lassa fever is animal-human hemorrhagic disease. This disease has been in existence since 1950s. The virus first occurred in Nigeria in 1969 in the town of Lassa in Borno State. Lassa fever is relatively common in West Africa, including Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Ghana. Causes. It is caused by a virus carrying rodents known as multi-mammoth rat or Lassa rats. Lassa virus is a member of the arenavirus family of viruses. Humans get infected when they make contact with infected rats or eat food contaminated with urine, excreta of the rats. Signs and symptoms. Once infected, victims present signs and symptoms within 1 to 3 weeks, ranging from slight fever, uneasiness, weakness, headache, swelling of face, vomiting, sore throat, bleeding in gums, eyes and nose, diarrhea, fatigue, low blood pressure, breathing difficulties, pain in the chest, back and abdomen. Prevention. Prevention of this disease generally relies on practicing good community hygiene, preventing rodents from entering homes, washing of hands with soap and running water, avoiding body contact with rats, keeping away food items from the reach of rats by proper storage, proper waste disposal to avoid attracting rats, isolation of suspected victims, proper sanitization and disinfection of equipment, educating people on the prevalence and risk of the disease. Cure. Although researches are underway to develop a vaccine for Lassa virus, however, ribavirin have been used effectively for the treatment of this fever if administered at the early stages of this infection. Shirley Daniels, Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Now, welcome back from that report. You've heard also that the process or the procedures in which you need to take in order for you to be safe, from catching the Lassa fever virus. Now, in fact, for me, I for one, I do go along with my hand sanitizer. It's always with me, because sometimes you don't get to see running water, for you to wash your hands with. But then make sure you always have your hand sanitizer, not just hand sanitizer,
yes,
the one that has alcoholic content.
They say prevention is better than cure.
This will go a long way. And then when you notice somebody who has fever, please try as much as you can not to go close to this person, not to have body contact with this person, because
don't say that person is your brother, your sister, or you are too related. When it comes to health, your life matters.
Now we are in Anambra State. Sorry, we didn't mention that earlier. We are in Anambra State, in Oka precisely. Now, today in Oka, the CP John Abang took us to a place at the SARS headquarters in Anambra here. Yeah. And then there and right there, and there was a commissioning.
Yes, there was a commissioning. It was a commissioning of statement taking room. Yeah, thank you. A statement taking room. And at that place, it was really awesome, where the Commissioner of Police actually talked about what it was meant for, for interrogation. Those that are criminals, when they are being caught, they bring them to that place while they sit in the interrogatory room, and letting the cat out of the basket.
The cat out of the bag,
Okay.
Now this edifice, this building this whole thing was done in collaboration with the EU and the British Council, and like he was trying to say, the purpose of this is because sometimes criminals will say, they tortured me, they did this, they did that for me to get. Now it is not using business as usual, Now in fact, when we're gonna get to the reports right away, so that you can see for yourself the facilities and the equipment that is being put to place in order for this to make work easier for these officers and also for the suspects.
And even for the populace.
So let's get to the reports right away.
This is in support of the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice law in Anambra State. There are various provisions of that law, and being a law in itself will not meet the purpose of creating a legislation if those provisions are not duly implemented. And to speak to this now, Section 13, subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law 2010 of Anambra State provides that there should be a statement-taking room and the other conditions to meet with a standard way of obtaining statements from suspects. And it is in keeping with that the EU ROLAC program has supported the Anambra State Command with the statement-taking room today to provide a mechanism for that provision to be fully met with.
I think the rationale is to ensure that suspects who are being interrogated on allegation of crime, their interview is being recorded, and that interview recording will be presented in court, is to overcome the issue of allegation of torture by policemen, which is often raised by suspects. So, and also, why it's also very important is that it will also cut the need to have a trial within trial for the purpose of admitting the confessional statements, because normally trial is elongated by additional 1 year or 2 for the purpose of conducting if indeed the statement has been taken without duress or torture. Once you have a recording of the statement, court will be able to come to a determination quickly if indeed the statement was voluntarily made and if there was no any coercion or oppression of the suspect. And also it is in consonance with the law of the state. Section 13 of Anambra State's Administration of Criminal Justice law also requires that statements of the suspects must be recorded. In the absence of recording, there should be a relative or a legal practitioner of the choice of the suspect at such interview or interrogation. So this will go a long way to ensure that there is a fair hearing, the human rights of the suspect is protected against any possible infraction during any untoward practice during the conduct of taking the statements. The way the system is set up is that even the people who are here do not have access to interfere with it, because apart from copy being kept on this side, there's an off-site storage that even if anything untoward were to happen to the copy kept, they can always retrieve core copy from an off-site storage apart from the location here. And the chances that the video will be interfered is very, very unlikely, because at the conclusion of the interview, if the defendant is charged to court, a copy will be provided for him and his lawyer, and copy will also be provided to the Ministry of Justice to be used in court.
And I must say, ROLAC is working in tandem with the vision of the present Inspector General of Police, Alhaji Abubakar Adamu, MNI. Because since assuming office, he has driven the force based on proactive policing and not reactionary policing. This has involved his acquiring various types of equipment for men and women of the service. In the process, it has resulted in several breakthroughs across the country. And I'm sure the IT will be very happy by the time I brief him on this epoch-making ceremony, being powered by ROLAC, British Council, and the EU. I'm sure the officers and men of SARS must be very excited, because with what I saw during the demonstration and the facility tour, you will agree with me that it is a state-of-the-art facility that will help us without using the wrong methods to get credible intelligence that will enable us to prosecute suspects in competent courts of law in the land.
Welcome back. Just like I was about saying, talking about the interrogatory room, where the suspect was going to sit down and the interviewer, maybe the SAS interviewer, will be interviewing that suspect. I think you actually watched that and you heard from them. So now suspect will not just say they tortured me. You sat and then you were being
because
interviewed.
there's a camera that is watching, so nobody is going to lie against each other. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not lying. So they're asking you the questions straight and direct, and you're giving what you actually know about it. I think this is a very good one coming from the police.
From the police, and not just the police, from the Anambra State Police Command.
That's true, yeah.
And now I want to ask this opportunity to ask every other command, other state police command, other CPs to emulate from this fine example and see if they could also do something like at this interrogation room, because it would be nice if every other command have something like that. It is going to go a long way. At least we are meeting up with the technology and everything that every other country has. Now also after the commissioning of that statement taking room, the CP with security reports also have an exclusive interview with CP John Abang, where he talked about how he was able to police the Anambra State, and the Anambra at large, that
and the Anambarian. That was what I actually got.
Yes, for them to be able to celebrate their Yuletide, the Xmas period, together with the Christmas, Christmas and the New Year, season without hitch-free. Now, it is not. It's not a child's play here. It's not a child's play. So he talks about it, where he helped him, and then he even went as far as thanking the governor of Anambra State, talking about Governor Willie Obiano, the Apokodike Wuru.
I guess I'm believing that she's from this town. She's from this very, very town, because the way she pronounced it, you are going to actually agree with me that she's from this soil.
Anyways, I can't help it. When somebody is doing something nice, you really have to praise that person commendable for what that person is doing. Now, let's get to that exclusive interview with CP John Abang.
This is the second month in the year 2020. From the October of every year, the people from the southeastern part of Nigeria return home for celebration of Christmas and New Year. Particularly in Anambra State, it's a carnival period. When it's time for December and early January, a lot of traditional activities, official activities, chieftaincy titles, people from all walks of life come home to celebrate one item or the other. And that brings a lot of challenges to the police in the state. But the year 2019 has been adjudged to be, so far, the best in Anambra, the best in terms of security. Everything went on smoothly without any problem. That people are saying that this happened to be the largest turnout of the Anambra, as they are called, so far. But that is not without some people who had made it possible, and who are those officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, Anambra State Command. Today, we are in the office of the Commissioner of Police, CP John Abang, who has been working tirelessly, selflessly, depriving his comfort and his family his presence to ensure that the Anambra is safe. Join us as we welcome him to this interaction. So it's a pleasure to talk with you. In my opening, I did say that from what we gathered, that this 2019 Yuletide celebration seems to experience the largest turnout of the Anambra. Is that a statement of fact?
I will start by saying good afternoon, Patrick of Crime Watch Africa. You're doing a great job. And going back to your question, what you have just said is the truth, as testified by the Anambra and Nigerians resident in Anambra State.
All right. You know, somebody was, when we were informed that, somebody said, yes, it's because the governor of the state and the police themselves had asked them to feel free and come. So they responded to your call and they came in mass for the celebration. How was it? How were you able to provide security for them?
Thank you very much. I'm happy you mentioned the governor of Anambra State, His Excellency Governor Willie Obiano, Akpokitike one of Global. He's one governor who is very, very much interested in security of his state. And he has keyed it into the IGP's vision of a safer environment, well policed, whereby we do preventive policing than reactionary policing. And that has worked for Anambra under my leadership as the CP command. We don't believe in reactionary policing. We believe in preventive policing, proactive policing. We go out there and do things that will prevent criminals from having the dominance. Rather, we dominate our environment by several tactics which I'm not supposed to disclose to you, but which has worked for us since assuming leadership. Yeah.
Okay. Was there any time maybe you were frightened or disturbed that with this number of persons, do you have enough capacity? Do you have enough to be able to police this state?
No. I was never shaken because I knew, one, my IG was solidly behind me. We had just had a conference with the IG in Abuja before Christmas, where he directed us on what to do to ensure we hold our command safe for Nigerians to celebrate their Christmas, particularly those of us in the south and east southeast zone. And Anambra, like you know, is a stakeholder in the east. All Igbos in the world, majority of them have come from Anambra State. So we had our structures on ground, and like I told you, the governor of Anambra State is very supportive. And of course, like I told you, he has keyed into the vision of the General of Police in terms of security. That has worked for us. So we knew what we were doing, and it was working for us, and we stood by it, and we knew that we were going to succeed. Personally, I was always all over in the field. We were even involved in things as minute as traffic control.
Yeah, I was going to come to
we
that.
Knew that criminals can take advantage of snags of traffic and rob people. So on several occasions, I went personally to the bridgehead, Owerri Road, and then Port Junction to ensure that we traffic is flowing seamlessly. And that works for us, apart from other crime preventive measures we employed.
Yeah, because I was going to talk about the issue of traffic. You know, some people who want to come over always worry that bridgehead and the highways might not be safe for them. But this year, everything moves smoothly. So your presence actually helped to ensure.
It was a very robust arrangement we had in place. One, we ensured that there were no unnecessary bottlenecks created by security agencies themselves. And how do we do this? By supervising the men. So I had to personally going out on the streets throughout that season to ensure that my men are involved, not just work as bystanders, but effectively directing traffic to ensure that there's a flow. So people didn't sleep on each other during that season, like happened in the past. Nobody slept on each other or Owerri Road. People traveled freely and at a good pace.
All right, sir. Let's come to the issue about, because one thing that you have distinguished yourself among your peers in the police commands is all over the Federation is the issue of high-tech usage of equipment, and not only men, but equipment. We're also aware that you deploy the helicopter area patrol to ensure that not only the ground or the foot patrol, but the state was also monitored on air. How did this work out?
Well, I had to key into the IG's vision, and I made a request to the IG because I want to be proactive, and I requested for a chopper, and he graciously granted an approval and directed the CP Air Wing to give me one chopper for December and the first quarter of 2020. And I used it effectively for both traffic control and, of course, patrolling the contiguous areas of Anambra, so that's Anambra East and West, where we have a terrain that encourages cattle rearing. And because my governor also was proactive, we have a committee, which we are going to be very soon, that involves in interfacing and troubleshooting between the farmers and the herders. And then these choppers came in handy we do area patrol, and when we notice their movement to a particular direction that is not allowed, we come down, address them in the presence of the Sergeant Fulani and some of the Igwes contiguous to that area. And that has helped us to contain the menace of cattle headers and farmers crisis in Anambra State. And of course, like you said, we also employed it for area patrol for traffic. They were communicating with us down on the ground, and that helped us to know where they were crossing next, and we moved in immediately. So it's all about being proactive. And when I met my IG and I requested, he granted me the permission to use the chopper. And I thank him very much for that privilege.
Okay. You talked about one thing that I must say that Anambra has done so well. This issue of the committee on the Herders and Farmers Committee, which is that you are the chairman. What was the concept behind the setting up of this committee, and how are they operating?
Yes, it has to do with the activities of the governor. I'm sure he has sat down and watched events in other parts of the country where herders had crisis with farmers in their states. And because he didn't want that to replicate in Anambra State, he went ahead to form that committee, which comprises traditional rulers in areas where herding is allowed, the vegetation allows herding. And of course, the chairman Butchers Association of Anambra State is a member. The Metiala, Makaba, they are all members. The Sergeant Fulani in Anambra State is a member of that committee. And of course, we have the DSS, Civil Defense, and the police component. And incidentally, by the grace of God, yours sincerely is the chairman of that committee. And that has been able to drive the vision of the governor in terms of proactiveness in preventing clashes between Nigerians on the basis of farmers and herders. And we are still working. It's a project in action. And I pray that other states that have similar challenges should copy the Anambra model, because it helps in troubleshooting. It helps in prevention. Instead of waiting for farmers and herders to fight and then you start bringing troops to shoot and to make the peace. Here, we are rather making the peace and join with both parties. And there's a novel idea to it again, where there's an infraction whereby herders, livestock eats the vegetation of the farmers in their farms or their crops, they are made to pay a compensation to the farmers. Mm-hmm. And when farmers, by accident or design, kill a livestock belonging to the herders, they are made to pay. So it's a win-win situation.
The IG was personally present to commission this equipment. They were donated to all the security agencies in Anambra State. However, the police being the lead agency in internal security, we had the lion's share of the vehicles and of course the high-tech CCTV equipment, which have been manned by my personnel. They are deployed around the whole state. They are mobile cameras. And I must say here today to Nigerians, Anambra State is the only state in Africa that is having this facility. We are the pioneers. Now the fire is catching on to other locations, but we are the first in Africa, and it has been very, very handy. If you drive to Onitsha, even in the state capital car here, I have them at the popular Unizik Junction is a low density area where there are a lot of activity by students and librarians. So we deploy it there to check unnecessary criminal activities, and it's where a lot of buses load to go to other parts of the east or to the southwest. I have another one at the border between Anambra and Enugu State. They're talking about the state capital, that's at Amansi. Then you get to Onitsha, I have it at Upper Iweka and at the bridgehead. Then at Nnewi and at Ihiala and at Otuocha, they are all deployed. And they give us real-time intelligence. We have a control room where everything happening, where they are located, is being fed back to a monitor. And from there, they report to us. And we can play back the video and track down any incident that happened in the past 24 hours or 48 hours, as the case may be. It's been a wonderful experience.
Welcome back. That was exclusive coming from the Commissioner of Police, Anambra State. And honestly, during the Umba month is when, the people who travel away, they travel out of the country to some far away, that is when they actually come back home. And from that report, we hear exclusively that these people that came back, it was a home it was a home to be
In
again.
fact, this period has never been recorded in the history of Anambra, where a lot of people came in, you know, like a huge number of people came back home. You know, I could remember sometimes in November, the governor of Anambra State said, you know, he was like, oh, for those of you who are outside and that wants to come back, you are free to come back to your state, because Anambra is no longer the way it used to be. You know, before Anambra was known for a lot of criminal activities, talk about kidnapping, talk about robbery, talk about a lot of things. And then, you know, the governor actually
brought it to the minimum, right?
Yes, he made people understand his stance against criminality. You know,
can you call that name, the name you gave to the Anambra State?
No, I was not the one that gave him that name.
Okay, call the name now, because for this piece to actually be in Anambra State, say that again, please.
Okay, we're talking about the governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano. So, you know, like I was saying, for Oris, you know, he actually showed his stand against criminality when he took over office, and the very first thing he did was to destroy a criminal den, you know, the kidnapping den that he knew about, that is right in his own state. Wow. So he doesn't even care who you are. And he has said it, that if you're a criminal in Anambra State, you should run away, you should disappear, or they will disappear you, because Anambra State is not meant for criminals, please. So don't even come. And now you have seen the way things roll out. Once you do something with high-tech this thing that they have around, you know,
where he even talked about that some of this high-tech equipment have been placed in different places. I think he made mention of Onitsha and some other places. So where are you going to run to? Even in Unizik Junction. So where you go into, where you run into. So it's better you think twice before you go into any criminal acts.
Well, still on that, it is quite unfortunate that even with this whole high-tech you know, technology and all that, people still play deaf ear. I don't know what they are thinking. I don't know if they think that they will not be caught if they commit such a crime. And that leads us to the parade of some suspects, you know, today by the CP too. Some people, some 7-man gang actually went into car snatching, you know, this January this year, and unfortunately for them, they were caught. So let's get to their professional statement right away.
I would like to draw your attention to a new device being employed by some criminal elements to beat the security agencies at their game. What I'm holding in my left hand here is a jammer. It is common knowledge that many Nigerians today fix tracking equipment in their vehicles, so that in the event of the car being snatched or robbed, it can be tracked and recovered by security agencies. The criminals now have moved ahead of us to get this equipment whereby it is installed whenever they snatch a car. So whatever your tracking company does to track your car will fail until they sell the car off. This is what it looks like. I understand they downloaded this technology from the internet and they are using it effectively.
My name is Michael Obinna.
How old are you?
46 years.
How do you obtain this jammer?
No, the jammer is the people who brought the Venza. It's I then call the person who bring the jammer, bring the tracker disconnector. So I bring the jammer come.
He brought the jammer for
He brought the jammer come. No, he brought it on the process of vandalizing the car. That is the area the police come and arrest us.
Who is the person?
No, the person, he have a gunshot, so I don't know exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why do you involve yourself into this act?
Actually, they call me to come and buy the Venza. That is why I come.
They call you to
come and buy the Venza. That is why I come there.
How much did you buy the Venza?
I never bought anything. Immediately they came, then we are there. The guy was there vandalizing the car, checking the tracker before police came up.
But you know it was a stolen car.
Actually, I know. Actually, I know.
Then why will you buy a stolen car?
No, I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't lie. I need to tell the truth.
And why will you buy a stolen car?
Nothing, sir.
How long
have you been doing this?
It's about 3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah.
How many stolen vehicles did you buy so far?
So I have problem with it before. About 5. About 5.
About 5.
Yeah.
So what do you have to tell the world now that you have been arrested?
No, I have been begging the police to forgive me, and because of the age matters, I don't supposed to involve myself in such attitude. You know.
Okay, who supplied the vehicles to you?
I know the name, and I have given police the names and the phone numbers.
You buy the cars to sell?
No, I never bought it already.
No, I mean, you say you have bought 5 cars.
Exactly.
You buy to sell?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you buy each car?
No, they told me the Venza about 1.5.
Venza, how much?
Yeah, 1.5 they told me.
How much is the price of Venza in the market?
Normally now from Cotonou, line here is a 4.5.
Then you bought it at 1.5?
Yeah.
And sold for how much?
We still sold it at 4.5.
You are married, definitely?
Yes.
How many children?
4.
You are from which place?
I'm from Chinagwata local government, Anambra State.
Have you ever been arrested by the police?
Yes, yes.
Have you ever been taken to court?
Yes.
Have you served a sentence?
No, I have never served.
How do you manage to come out?
No, it's just that, just on bail.
Bail?
Yeah.
By who?
No, through DPP.
By?
Through DPP.
What's the name again? Name?
My name is Michael Obina.
No, by who? Who normally bring you out from the custody?
I can't even remember his name now exactly.
Well, you mentioned it now.
So I said DPP.
DPP.
Welcome back. Where are you going to run to and where are you going to hide to? That is why security report always brings you, informations on criminal acts and all that. So do not say you were not told and do not say you're not aware. Run away from criminal acts.
Well, if somebody should ask you to do a particular errand, run an errand for him or her, make sure you get to know the source of the reason. What is that? The errand you're running for. What is it for? What is it meant for? Because I don't think I would. Somebody will ask me, oh, please take this money, surely, and then go to collect so. For what? For what? What am I collecting a gun for you?
I think that's why that guy actually got into that trouble.
For how much? For just 100,000. 100,000 that with the economy, with the way things are right now, 100,000 won't even take you for 1 week. That is wrong. It's as much as you can.
And yet he was given 700,000.
No, he was not the one with the 700. Somebody gave him 700,000.
Yes, somebody gave him such money, and he took the money.
The thing is, as much as you can, stay away from crime.
That's
it is
true.
never, even if you think your situation is the worst situation on earth, go out there and find out from people. There are people who you are better off than.
Right.
And it's so annoying that most people that engage in this criminal activities has one skill, one skill or the other that they can actually do in order to make a living for themselves and for their family. Now, we don't have much time. We have to leave for that program to come in.
Yeah.
But before we leave, we have to tell you to be security conscious, health-wise, and other
health conscious.
The coronavirus is spreading, is fast spreading. The Lassa fever is also fast spreading. Please take precautions, take protective measures. Not to make sure you are safe together with your loved ones, your family. Until we come your way next time, my name is Shirley Daniels.
And I'm always Ade Oye.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.